Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. I think it is Wednesday, hump day, so we're getting closer to the weekend. I'll be in Lubbock, Texas, Friday night at the Cactus Theater. That thing is almost sold out. Go to watchchad.com for all the fun stuff is. Come hang out with us in Lubbock. And then we got a lot more on. Going to be up in New York, first week of August. Our Make Music Great Again kickoff gala is going to be there. And I'll be posting more details about that on watchchad.com. Well, folks, here we are. We're back into the show where common sense hasn't gone extinct. At least I hope. I got a lot of hell yesterday for talking about Ozzy Osbourne. We're going to get into that a little bit today, and I think we should talk about it. Ozzy never made a big mark in my life, but that doesn't mean he didn't do that for a lot of people. Well, we found that out the hard way yesterday. Let's get straight into it today because we're dealing with headlines that are just insane. I will say this, Donald Trump is, the media swore he was finished. All the indictments, all of the accusations, all of the things that came against him, they thought he was gone. But he's president again, in case you haven't noticed, and he is stacking up wins while the DNC's approval ratings are going deeper than the garbage on Hunter's laptop hard drive. Is Trump playing 4D chess? I mean, I keep hearing that accusation. I'm not sure. I'm ready to see some big wins. And when I talk about wins, I mean arrests. I don't know if we're going to see that or not, but there's some things that we need to discuss today to see where everything is stacking up in the establishment, which is the Washington, D.C. Beltway garbage swamp. And we will talk about Ozzy Osbourne. He passed away yesterday at the age of 76. The Prince of Darkness has left the building. And while the tributes are pouring in from every corner of the music world, both in the industry and his fans, I want to talk about what really matters when a celebrity dies. Because when you stand before God, celebrity doesn't matter. It's not about your legacy or your record sales. It's about eternity. And I want to talk about that because I brought it up yesterday. I thought it was a very fitting tribute. I thought it was something worth considering, but people didn't like it. So I'm the one with the microphone. I get the opportunity to defend myself and tell you why I feel the way I do. And we're gonna unpack, why hoping for someone's salvation for eternity is actually the most respectful thing you can do whenever they leave this world. And finally, the insanity does continue. I don't even know where to begin. You got men that or women's awards, criminals that are coddled while citizens are getting censored, and our leaders are more concerned with, Ukraine or whatever third world countries that are out there with Bill Gates lobbying to get some of your money to send over there to them. Anyway, they don't care about you, folks. The whole country's been slipped to psychedelic, and I'm just here in the corner drinking black coffee, yelling, "Wake up!" Actually, I'm drinking some Make Wellness. If you haven't joined my Make Wellness team, now's a good time to do that. You can find the link to that at the top of the homepage on watchchad.com. It's so good. So buckle up, folks. Today's episode is going to be straight fire, brimstone, and just the right amount of sarcasm because in today's world gone mad, clarity is rebellion. So let's go. Now, before we jump into the first headline, I want to talk to you about Bill Gates in a moment, but Birch Gold. Text Chad to 989898. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They have tens of thousands of satisfied customers. The reason they're satisfied is because they got that free, no obligation information kit that taught them how Birch Gold can convert your old 401k or savings or even an IRA that's not doing anything into a tax-sheltered IRA that's backed by physical gold. So while the BRICS nations are meeting together to devalue the dollar, crypto is going crazy. Your 401k tied to the stock market is insane. You're tossing and turning, wondering if you're going to be secure in your future. Birch Gold says yes, absolutely. And they convince you when you text Chad, C-H-A-D, to the phone number 989898. Birch Gold's there to help you. They want to get your address, and they want to send you that free, no obligation information kit on how you can convert everything you got. That savings, that future, that retirement, the one that's sitting there not doing anything, from 401k from an old company that's not being invested in anymore. That's right. You can roll it over. Birch Gold's there to help. Text Chad to 989898. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the guy you've all been waiting for. Let's bring him on. Party Foul Steve.
They've been waiting.
God, the audio on EV Mux, the system we use, sucks.
Is it bad?
It's all so bad. We're changing everything. We're changing everything.
September 1st.
September
1st, everything changes.
Everything changes.
For me.
You'll still be here. I'll still be here. They'll still see our ugly mugs and hear our goofy voices. And they'll still get some common sense with a little bit of sarcasm. But we will be doing a new look. And hopefully we'll fix this sound. Now, part of the reason is because I am in parts unknown. I'm hiding out in America.
Your rehab facility is huge, dude. The
rehab facility, and they give me the space down here to come talk. So, it echoes around this room because I don't have enough crazy people walking around in their little robes to block the sound.
I keep waiting for some ghost or psych patient to come walking down the hall behind you, coming up.
Yeah, because if you look down the hallway to the little kitchenette, it's a quaint little rental, is what it is. It's a rental rehab. I get the doctors to prescribe the right medications and tell me what I want to hear. Now that, my friends, is therapy.
Yeah.
And we're all going to need it. You need therapy, that's for sure. You've been ringing our ear this morning talking about things going on in your world.
I had a lot of stuff I needed to just get off my chest and I unloaded on you and producer Dave.
Yeah, well, you guys, I don't know how to help you in that situation.
No, thank you for just listening. I just needed somebody to listen to me rant for a few minutes.
I'll tell you this, Steve. It's all going to be all right.
100%.
It's all going to be all right.
It's not even my problem. I worry about other people's problems more than my own, I think.
I worry about mine more than anybody else's these days. So, do I look like I slept last night?
You do. You look thinner today, too. Did you eat?
Dude, I've been working on it. Grief and confusion in your life will make you... It'll make you lose weight. It really will. No, I had actually gained about 10 pounds over the last probably, 6 weeks? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I did a little with Make Wellness. Here's what I did. And I'm going to post the before and the after and the after and the before and however you want to do it. So I did really good on Make Wellness. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to see if it was really making a difference in my life. Because it made a huge difference. You attested to it. You saw it firsthand. When I started taking the peptides, and so I backed off of the peptides for the space of about 3 weeks, dude. And with travel and all that, I said, I want to see what it does. Dude, immediately the cortisol come back to my face. The stress started showing up. The sleep lines, the bags, all the stuff just got worse. And I was a mess, dude. And I gained some weight back. And so now I'm back on religiously.
I kept telling everybody, if you want to see how good it is, take it for 4 or 5 weeks, and then take 1 day off from taking it, and you'll feel horrible. Yep. Just like dragging.
As we were doing the pre-show right here, I went back to the little kitchenette there, and I grabbed a hydrated, threw it in the water, and it's all, I'm telling you. And we're back at it, man. So I'm going to show you guys my before and after, and then my after before, and then the after, and then I'll show you the again. I don't know how you do this. Anyway.
Show us the future.
I'm telling you, I love Make Wellness. So if you want to join me, or Steve, jump on a team.
Yeah,
come hang out with. But try the products. You can find them. The top is chad.com. All right, Bill Gates, he's going to Washington, D.C. He's lobbying for third world countries. Now, the reason he's doing this is because of the defunding of USAID. And so now Bill Gates, this guy who has wanted to depopulate places, particularly the evil things that he did in Africa, the guy that wants you to eat synthetic meat, he's concerned once again about these third world countries. And rather than paying for it himself, he wants to dig into the coffers of the American taxpayers. And here's what his agenda is. Play the clip.
I'm here in Washington, D.C., meeting with lots of members of Congress. I'm going to encourage them to stay involved in global health, saving millions of children's lives with a small part of the budget. When you ask people how much the point budget is, they often will say 5 or 10%. It's less than 1%. Even so, what we do give, it adds up to a lot. You save tens of millions of lives. Unfortunately, early this year, most of the people involved with that who worked for USAID were all let go, and the money was largely cut off, resulting in a lot of people dying. A small part of it's been restored, but not enough to avoid mothers giving HIV to their babies, people not being diagnosed with tuberculosis, kids not getting bed nets to protect them. We're trying to make sure that money that Congress said should be spent on these things, that actually gets spent. You know, I'd argue that the 1% is worthwhile, not just on moral grounds, but very practical grounds of keeping America strong and protecting us from diseases, helping people avoid the deaths, avoiding parents dying of HIV, getting out of the poverty trap. That 1% makes all the difference, and we should be proud of it.
These hyper-produced little videos of these guys, they make me sick. This is the dude who is responsible for depopulation in Africa. I mean, the guy has literally advocated for population control. You look it up. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. He's talking about saving people in third world countries. He literally has called for depopulation, Steve.
I would like to know what the interest on his bank account is.
Well,
if that would be enough. Just the interest. If he and I know he gives a lot of, apparently gives a lot of money away, but
does he?
I've heard that before.
I mean, compared to you and me, I mean, exponentially greater, I'm sure.
Yeah, but what percentage of his paycheck is, or his bank account is gone?
And I would love to see people in the chat, you know, do you really think Bill Gates is interested in humanity? Yes or no. He's going to go to Congress. He's going to lobby with his hat in his hand, right? He's going to make a little production video. And here is it. You see this right here. This is the World Economic Forum. Rapid population growth in some of Africa's poorest countries could put at risk future progress towards reducing global poverty and improving health, according to a report by the philanthropic foundation of Bill Gates. Now, killing off people in third world countries, which is something he's advocated for, and here in America, by the way, that's not very philanthropic. That dude he was married to, you know, she took half of his money. So this is all in the effort to reverse the progress that we made, that Elon Musk made, that the Trump administration made in cutting the corrupt, bloated lifeline known as USAID.
But this is an example of another rich guy that's inserting himself into politics, and that's something we talked about often.
Right.
They're putting themselves in places because they have the money.
Right.
And not because I'm sure I know he's a smart guy. Okay, it doesn't mean he's smart on everything.
Well, he knows how to steal. He knows how to steal smart ideas. I know that.
Yeah.
And no question about it. He's a rich guy. I've come up with a term for this, Steve. I've come up with a term for what these guys do. And you guys can write it down. It's a mouthful, but I've come up with a term. It's globalist influence laundering. It's globalist influence laundering. That's what they're doing. And let me say, absolutely no Republican worth a grain of, I mean, with a single grain of backbone should meet with him. Not a single one. If he wants to go in there and lobby Congress, you want to fund mosquito nets and medical labs in Malawi? Listen, fine. Write the check bill. You got the money. What you don't have is the right to raid our national treasury like it's a private ATM for pet projects that don't serve the American people. See, that's the whole point. That's why we defunded USAID. And to be honest, Republicans are going to meet with him because they're spineless goop swamp creatures. And they always do that because behind every closed door handshake is a promise of a future board seat or a kickback or a book deal or a back channel foundation grant with a 7-figure consulting fee. These people are slimy, and it's a rigged game. They're going to get richer. We're going to get the bill. You know, America's going to get pushed to the back of the line. No more. America first. America first, America first. Not Bill Gates, not Davos, not the World Economic Forum, not the WHO, not the UN. Us, period. That's the end of the story there.
But it's only 1%, Chad.
It's only 1%. That sounds great.
They're going to 1% us to death.
Do you really think that we're not... I mean, we are the world's charity. I mean, we really are. You look at how much money we give already, and he's going to make it like we're not giving 1%. These guys know how to couch these percentage points in terms that make everybody go, oh, that's just a little bit of our treasury. No, it's actually, it's a lot. It's a lot. And we're already giving a lot to these third world countries. Just pull up a map, just pull up a charity map of how much we do give to every single country, and then measure that by how much they give back to us.
Where does he live at? Do you know where he lives?
Well, I mean, he's got the place. I mean, have you ever seen his place in Seattle?
Okay, let's just take Seattle. Whenever he fixes all of Seattle's problems with the homelessness, the starving people there, then branch out from there.
That's
Let's start there. Start in. It's just like your neighbors. You know, if your neighbor came and knocked on your door and needed some bread, you'd give them some bread, right? Or if you saw, you see the guy down the street, take care of your own neighborhood first, your own city.
Yeah. So take a look at this right here. Countries that receive the most foreign aid from the U.S. So you take a look at these kind of things. I mean, there's Ukraine right up there at the top with, a big old fat whopping. But you got Israel, you got Jordan, you got Egypt, Ethiopia, Somalia, Nigeria, Congo, Afghanistan, Kenya, Mozambique, Syria, South Sudan. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but most of that aid it's not given to help to feed the people. It's given to control their governments and stuff like that, because that money is filtered and laundered and everything else. That's all you hear is the corruption. Even with dropping off food in some of these countries, it gets stolen and then sold.
Well, even if they
had food going bad. They had food sitting in warehouses going bad.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. I mean, we're going to keep doing this kind of stuff. You bring up a good point, Steve, because I didn't want to get into this, but I will say it. Everybody knows I spend a lot of time in Nigeria, right? You go to Nigeria, you have the commercial capital, which is Lagos, and then you have the federal capital, which is Abuja, and then neither one of them know what the other one's doing. I mean, the right arm doesn't know what the left arm's doing, and neither one of them cares. It's a corrupt government. It's a corrupt place. And you saw on that list right there in the middle how much money we're giving to Nigeria, and it is ultimately it's about control. It's controlling minerals, it's controlling the oil, it's controlling all of these different things that we can control, but it's controlling these governments because these are banana republics. We know that. And what do they contribute to global scale in terms of charity or anyway, Nigeria, nothing, but the resources, yes. And that's what we do. That's what we do. But we do give a lot out in the name of compassion. Speaking of socialists, we got to move on. Government in Kansas City. They tried that government-run grocery store. It failed. I mean, this is what's going to happen if you get Zohran Mamdani there in New York City, who wants to have, government-run grocery stores.
Is this like federal government or state?
It's their state and local governments. I mean, that's the whole deal. They want to have. I mean, again,
stores. Some of the
mayor doesn't have any choice.
Stuff.
Yeah, that's a different deal.
Oh,
and it ain't a good deal either. I mean, if you go to the ABC store in a place like Alabama or wherever, those are still government. They're getting the government tax money off your liquor. It kills private enterprise because then it's a government-controlled liquor store. Do they keep it well stocked? Yeah, of course they do, because it's a moneymaker for them. But when you're talking about government-run grocery stores, this is going to be problematic. That's what Zohran Mamdani is running on. That's one of his platforms there in New York if he becomes mayor. This is communist Russia. Anybody that's ever, and I've been to Moscow. I know what it's like to stand in line for something. Back in '94, right after the fall of communism, they were still standing in line waiting on their food, the meat hanging up in the one window. I mean, I can't imagine eating that fly-infested crap. But I want you to play this clip right here.
It's clear this Sunfresh at 31st and Prospect is struggling. This is the first section people see they come in. There's barely any produce. A lot of the coolers and shelves around the store look the same way, empty. So shoppers have been asking us, if the store isn't closing, then where's all the food? A rotten smell comes through the door, and anywhere you turn, you'll see products that need to be restocked. No hot food or deli.
I watch people walk in and walk out.
The grocery store has received financial assistance from the city, but has been unable to keep those shelves stocked. An area that in the past has often been referred to as a food desert.
Yeah. Around here, a good thing don't last too long.
And it will impact a lot of people. And a lot of families.
The city owns the Linwood Shopping Center. A nonprofit operates the grocery store. It's clear this Sunfresh at 30.
I mean, from the gutter to the butter.
Okay, so a nonprofit runs the grocery store. So they rely on donations to that grocery store.
But the city owns it.
Yeah, they own
the city owns the grocery store. The city owns a nonprofit. That whole thing. Again, you could call it a nonprofit or whatever, whether it's a donation. I mean, if it's government run, it's still there's no such thing as government funded. Even the government runs on donations. That's called tax dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, again, to dissect the word, yeah, but it is up to the people to pay for it. And if you got a government-run deal, you're going to have empty shelves.
I like the idea of, a lot of the churches. Man, when we lived in Florida, every church had a food pantry, and on Saturdays, the lines out, people just line up for free groceries. They were giving them away.
Well, if you can keep that supply going. I mean, we had a church that had I pastored a church that had a
But that's relying on community, not state and federal.
Yes and no, it is. But, there were things that what we would do is we had people who went out and collected the day-old bread or the stuff that they were throwing out, because there is a lot of waste and there were a lot of things. We always, we had food pantries in multiple churches where I was at. But again, you can't rely on that, because if the donations don't come in, they're not going to be there. The problem is when you have a government run, which is what Zoran Mamdani is running on in New York City, is you're going to have the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots are going to suffer severely. Because you don't have benevolent dictators. There's no such thing, and that's the problem with socialism. Socialism sounds great as a community-led thing. People talk about the book of Acts, where it says that the church came together and they all shared in everything freely. And people say, see, that's socialism. Well, it's not, because it wasn't the state involved with it. It wasn't the government. It was compassionate individual charity. That's one thing. But when the state gets involved, you don't have anything such as a benevolent dictator. Because as soon as the person rises to the top, he's going to take all of the power, because that's and all of the resources, because that's what greed does.
Yeah, and those churches are not mandated by the state or the government.
Right, because
it's voluntary to help somebody. You're going to have compassionate people. You're going to have people that ain't going to help nobody ever.
Well, you have one thing. You can elevate individual charity, or you can elevate the state. One is going to be, you're elevating God and his compassion that he's placed inside of you. That's one thing. But if you're elevating the state to the point of godhood and you're expecting the state to take care of everybody, it just simply doesn't work. And that Kansas City grocery store is a perfect example of why Zoran Mamdani needs to lose, and lose big, in New York. Because it's one thing for it to happen in Kansas City. It's another thing for it to be mandated all the way across New York City, where you got a city of 11 million people, 12 million people, whatever the thing is right now. I want to know if you think this is sexist, Steve. Uber has announced an option to allow female drivers to request women only.
No, I have no problem with that, as long as they have to put on that they're a real woman. They can't, none of the trans women, okay? So, because, you have daughters, I have daughters. If they're jumping in Uber, I think I don't know. I'm going to fight myself here, because I'm thinking I would rather them have a woman driver. And then I just heard myself say that. So maybe having a woman driver is not that great.
Well,
And if they're Asian woman driver, then I'm totally out.
Listen, if you put your daughter in the car with a man, then that's dangerous, potentially dangerous. If you put your daughter in a car with a woman driver, that could be deadly too. So
I got a quick Uber story, and this happened to me. I called for my Uber. They came to pick me up, and it was a woman driver, but it was supposed to be a man. And she said, "I'm sorry, I'm driving for my husband." And I was like, "This is not right." But I took the ride anyway, because I didn't want to wait for another one.
I think there needs to be some, how when you get on Uber, and this is just me being the way I am. I take a lot of Ubers. I take a lot of cars, right? I think I'm able to pick what kind of car is coming to get me, because I've had people who have said, all right, this is going to be an Uber XL or something like that. And it shows up, and it's like some woman, and the dog hair is all in the back of the Nissan Sentra. I'm like, this ain't a Uber XL. I think I should be able to.
You and I did one of those, like we were like in West Virginia or Virginia something, and we took that ride through the mountain in the little minivan, and it smelled like smoke, and it was full of dog hair, and it was just the nastiest car we've ever been in.
That was in Pennsylvania. That was in Pennsylvania. And she took it. She said we're going to take a shortcut. Well, the shortcut meant that part of the road was washed out. You remember that? I mean, she had the kids' crap all in there, and I'm like, anyway, it's a ride share. It is what it is. But I sort of like this idea that if I am a female, I should be able to request a female driver. I think we should have a lot of choice when it comes to ride share and things like that. I mean,
the sexist part is, though, if I should be able to request a female driver as well. If request male or female. So what's next after male or female?
I mean, I don't know what your justification is for that. I could see why a woman would request a woman.
I know that, but maybe I would rather look at a woman driving me down the road.
Yeah, but that just became misogynistic. So you can't claim sexism when you're being misogynist.
Oh, okay. I mean, the next step is racist then. So because you're going to choose.
Well, maybe I don't want a guy named Muhammad driving me around.
Well, you're going to get that from time to time.
I promise you, I've had more Muhammads drive me in an Uber than anybody else. It doesn't bother me. I don't care about it. You know what? I get in the car and I'm like, "What's up, brother?" I have a conversation with every Uber driver I've ever had, unless I can tell the dude just don't want to talk, and that's fine too.
Remember that time you didn't tip that guy?
That was in Dubuque, Iowa, and I forgot to. I hate that because sometimes you get out at the airport and you're going in, you got your bags, and sometimes you go through security, you're doing all the stuff, you get busy, and you're like, dang it, I forgot to tip the Uber driver. And everybody knows I'm a good tipper, and I forgot to do it. And the dude, like, a week later sent me a deal. He goes, bro, he sent me a message. Bro, I thought you were a good guy, man. We had a good, and I'm like, first of all, that's inappropriate. That's inappropriate.
Yeah, he let you know that you didn't tip.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I knew who you were, man, and y'all were just disappointed. I thought you were a better person than this. Well, I tipped him. I was like, bro, I forgot. I hadn't taken an Uber. Because sometimes what I hate is when you open the Uber app to take the next ride, and you're like, dang it.
You didn't tip him. You didn't give him 5 stars.
There's the notification for the last guy. All right. Before we get into this story, let me remind you about our friends over at Allied Oilfield, industry leaders in the oil and gas company. They build the equipment that makes it work. And so if it's oil and gas or trucking or any of the big equipment, go over to AlliedOilfield.com. All the engineers. We got a ton of engineers. I know you guys educate yourself by listening to this show, but there are a lot of people in the oil and gas industry. A lot of our truckers out there. Go over there and check out the equipment that they build at AlliedOilfield.com. And maybe you have a design concept or a piece of equipment you need built. They can help you design it. They can come up conceptually with what you need and build it out for you. Call them up. Get that quote. Talk to one of their salespeople. Shoot them a text. Let them know. But check out their website, AlliedOilfield.com. And when you get into that conversation with somebody talking about, I don't know, landman or something, you can sound educated if you go to AlliedOilfield.com. All right, this same old crap keeps popping up. I saw this story this morning, and you don't even want to give it any attention, but Ulta Beauty. I went into an Ulta last week, Steve. I was looking for something. Won't say what.
I know exactly what you're looking. I've been into Ulta with you a couple of times.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to go to Ulta. But I went into Ulta, and it's always, you got all these people working in Ulta that maybe shouldn't be giving beauty tips. I don't know. Maybe that's mean of me. But these people really know their makeup. They know how to put a lot of stuff on. But at least they're women. At least they're women that are telling you, like, if I am looking for something specific, the women are the ones who know this stuff. Well, Ulta just did a makeup collab with a dude, I guess pretending to be a girl. I mean, wants to vomit.
There is now Ulta, and I'm here to see the display for the first time, you guys. Hi, honey. What's your name? Paulina. Nice to meet you, Paulina. Nice to meet you. What's your name, honey? Nice to meet you. We're going to see what Jamie and hair looks like at Ulta for the first time. It's going to be Ulta fun. Okay, let's see it. Who's that? She's so pretty. I got highlights since then. You guys, do you think it's pretty?
It's gorgeous.
Do you think she's going to get along with all of her other new Ulta?
Where does a dude like that find size 12s in a woman's shoe? Like, that's one of the things that I've always...
They got a website for it.
They do. They got like men's size women's shoes. I bet they do have a website for that, don't they?
Now, Ulta does have some men products, but it's like hair care products. Because I've been in there and I bought some, but
well, I mean, when I go into Ulta, I'm not going in there for the women's products. I'm actually going in there for the men's products. And FYI, I do have to get on stage, and sometimes I do need certain things that you can get at Ulta. You know, every now and then you might have to do a little beard touch up for TV or something like that. So whatever, you know, a little guy liner. We'll talk about Ozzy here in a little while, a little black fingernail polish. But sometimes you got a blemish you need to knock down or whatever. And you see that Dylan Mulvaney.
Is that Mulvaney or?
No, that was the dude right there. I don't know his name. I think he was on Queer Eye with a straight guy. He was one of the ones that he was the one who went and visited with Kamala Harris and did that whole thing. This is the one who he was on Sesame Street back during Pride Month. Dylan Mulvaney did another Ulta Beauty thing. I mean, here's the thing. When you think of Ulta, which I don't a whole lot, it's a makeup store for women. And it's not, this guy's not going in for the men's products. I mean, I'm thinking that the people who actually buy makeup to feel feminine, beautiful, and powerful, the same women who built the beauty industry from the ground up, apparently that's too old-fashioned for 2025 because now Ulta thinks the best way to market lipstick, eyeliner, and blush is to slap it on a dude and call that inclusive. So no, sweetheart, that's not inclusion. It's not inclusion. It's actually insulting to women.
Yeah, and you can put a lipstick on a pig, but...
I mean, they're doing it in size 12 shoes. So this, you know, it's International Transgender Day of Visibility at Ulta Beauty. Just don't shop at Ulta. I mean, you know, you're gonna do it anyway. You girls are gonna do it. You're gonna do it. It don't matter how many dudes parade around in there pretending to be women. Listen, I'm not talking about dudes that buy makeup for theater or TV or even for themselves. Sometimes I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I'm talking about the corporate boardroom decision to parade around a confused man in a wig, which he's actually got nice hair.
I mean, the market for that's got to be so small.
Tiny.
Why would you even make that a national, you know, thing?
He doesn't have a 5 o'clock shadow. He's got a full-blown beard. I mean, that's not female beauty. And listen, this is not about diversity. People say, why do you care, Chad? Because I care about women, because I got daughters, because I care about this. I care about the fact that these companies out there corporately are trying to erase women, and they're doing it with glitter and bronzer on a dude. So let me ask you guys something. Those of you in the chat, let me hear from you. Let me ask you something. Do you think Ulta would ever use a woman to sell shaving cream to men? No. A woman with drawn-on abs and a beard talking about how she identifies as masculine? Of course not. That would be laughed out of the building. But the other way around, when it comes to women, suddenly it's fashionable to replace them with caricatures in drag and pretend it's the same thing. It's not. It's a clown world with Sephora discount codes. Ladies, ladies are the backbone of the beauty industry, right? So without you, Ulta wouldn't exist. So why are they replacing you on the front lines of their marketing campaigns? Why are they pretending that a man in a, dressed up like a woman understands what it's like to be you, to deal with hormones and motherhood and stretch marks and still find the strength to put on mascara and go conquer the day? Newsflash for all of you: womanhood isn't a costume, it isn't a performance. And if you need a biological man to validate your femininity, then honey, you've lost the plot, because Ulta is proving they don't care about real women. Any of these corporations who do this BS, they care about trends, they care about virtue signaling, they care about staying in the good graces of the blue-haired brigade on TikTok, who don't even shop there. They care about their ESG scores. But the soccer moms, the single moms, the hardworking women who just want a good concealer and a little respect, they're invisible now. So if Ulta wants to throw women under the bus to get a few likes on Instagram, let them. But don't be surprised when their sales tank, and they should, because when you market to everybody, you stand for nobody. And as for the rest of us, men like me, we're going to be over here supporting companies that actually know the difference between a biological fact and a political costume. Steve, you should do an Ulta commercial. You got the hair for it.
They didn't learn nothing from Bud Light.
Nothing.
Didn't learn a thing.
Nothing. All right, they agreed. Ghislaine Maxwell has been approved by the House to testify. This is the Oversight Committee, and let me just say, this will produce absolutely nothing. Nothing, and I'll tell you why. they're going to send in some FBI person, some DOJ hack to do an interview, and they're going to come back and they're going to say, we uncovered no new information. If you want to get something out of Ghislaine Maxwell, you need an absolute savage trained interrogator who can go in with the purpose of catching the falsehoods, the misdirections, and the lies, and extract that information from her.
Or some good old-fashioned waterboarding.
You said it. I didn't say it.
I said it.
That is not the position of the Chad Prather Show program, Inc. LLC. Nancy Pelosi's going to chime in, though. Nancy Pelosi. She says, and this is a long one, and by the way, folks, learn to recognize when somebody's writing in Chat GPT. This is Nancy Pelosi's staffer who wrote this in Chat GPT. But she said, the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein and his enablers shattered countless lives and exposed a vast system of exploitation and violence against women and girls. Today, I'm proud to join as a co-sponsor of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. There's the long dash, which proves that it's Chat GPT. A vital step toward truth and accountability in the face of unspeakable abuse. With this resolution, we declare unequivocally that violence against women will not be ignored. Okay. She goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
Shattered countless lives because we don't know whose lives are shattered. There about to be some that's about to be shattered.
It should be. I mean, but this begs the question. This begs the question. That question being, Nancy Pelosi has been silent up until now. Why? Now, I made a post the other day on X, and people came at me because they're too stupid to think critically. I made a post where I said, why are the Democrats suddenly speaking out about it? They were completely silent. They've been completely silent. Nancy Pelosi didn't say a peep when she was Speaker of the House and had the Democrat House majority. She didn't say a peep about Epstein when she was Speaker of the House and had a Democrat House majority. Not a peep. And they didn't make a peep about it here recently when basically Trump went the other direction, called it a hoax, and said, wow, he's still talking about this creep. They didn't say a peep. But here's the post I made on X the other day was to this point. They didn't say anything until this last week, until they said they got a smoking gun evidence against Barack Obama. Then they started bringing it back up. And then they brought it up for the first time. Now all of them have started calling for it. The only other time they even squeaked about the Epstein stuff was when Elon Musk came out last month and said Trump is on the list if he doesn't release the files. So anytime they think that they can corner Trump is when they start talking about the Epstein deal. So in this case, Nancy, good on you. Let's see some transparency. I want to see it, regardless if it's then, now, whatever. You didn't say anything about it, but why now? I think they are nervous about the fact that Tulsi Gabbard says she has evidence against Barack Obama. Barack Obama finally made a statement yesterday, or at least his office did, whatever office that is, saying that this is misinformation. Spill it. Burn the whole damn thing to the ground. I'm ready to go. Ready to go. So what's going to happen? They're not going to get information out of Ghislaine Maxwell unless they have a true interrogator, and they won't. And the fact that these Democrats are now coming out and chiming in saying they want some Epstein files, transparency, I agree with them. Let's have it. What were you going to say?
I was just saying she's doing all this for self-preservation because she does know something, and it's going to be some colleagues probably caught up in it, and she can go, I wanted transparency. You know, she can play that.
Well, here's the thing. Barack Obama's not nervous at all. They can't. They're not going to touch Barack Obama on the Russian collusion hoax. They've already got that narrative spun out. They already know the way they're going to twist that thing around. They're going to claim racism. Donald Trump is a big racist. Why would he go against the first black president of the United States? The media spin on that is already written. That they're going to defend that Messiah to the grave. They will never. Somebody might be thrown under the bus. There might be a scapegoat somewhere. There might be a lower person on the totem pole. But Barack Obama, they're not going to touch him. I don't want to be right about that. But you guys know that he ain't nervous about it. And there's some shocking new details as far as Tulsi Gabbard is concerned in her report in regards to the Clinton stuff. Page 17, this is Charlie Kirk. The classified House Intelligence Committee report is wild. It reveals that Russia had huge amounts of potential anti-Clinton dirt that it sat on in the final days of the 2016 campaign. It included internal claims that Hillary was on heavy tranquilizers and suffering intensified psycho-emotional problems. Remember when they had to drag her into the van when she collapsed on that 9/11 deal?
Sidewalk.
Yeah. Evidence of severe health ailments like type 2 diabetes and ischemic heart disease. If you remember, Madame Mumu, back when she was wearing those things, I actually said I think she's got a colostomy bag.
Yeah.
But I said it. I can't prove it. But I said she definitely got diabetes, and it's interesting.
Genes.
Yeah. Internal DNC comms that Obama and others found Hillary's health extraordinarily alarming. And this is the reason the woman went walking in the woods, man, after she lost. Evidence of secret meetings with religious leaders where Clinton offered significant increases in funding from the State Department in return for their support. Oh, you know them. You know who those religious leaders were. Mm-hmm. You know who those were.
Exactly where they were.
Yeah. Internal Democrat admissions that European allies were unenthusiastic about a Clinton presidency and thought she was not up to the job of the head of state. I mean, look at Benghazi. Look at that debacle. So if Russia was really all in on supporting Trump and hurting Clinton, it would have leaked this information in October 2016 when her lead in the RCP average slipped to just plus 1.3. Instead, Russia didn't, completely debunking the core assumptions of the Russia hoax. Rather than admit they were wrong, Brennan CIA buried the info and manufactured a completely alternative reality to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump. Now look at that smoking gun right there.
All in black and white.
Oh, boy. Go down to David, roll down to the first comment underneath that. Let's see right here. So, let's see. That's messed up, intense psycho problems. I mean, she destroyed let's see what Harry Sisson says. Still lying to your audience, huh? Don't want them talking about Epstein. See, there they are. They're going to roll that talking point out now that their little chieftains are being attacked. Said, the report you cited actually agrees with the overwhelming majority of findings of the CIA. They acknowledge Russia interfered in our election. That Obama didn't just make it up. This is blah, blah, blah.
I can promise you the Trump administration can multitask.
Yeah.
They have it in them. They can work on all of it.
If heads don't roll for this, America isn't a country anymore. This is at last true Roman. Obama committed treason against the American people. He should be jailed for the rest of his life. Trump had 2 years of a presidency stolen from him. He should get that back and then another 2 for a third term. Well, that ain't going to happen, but I see the point. This is crazy, bro. What's going to happen? I don't know, man. It's interesting to see. Ozzy died yesterday at 76 years old. Ozzy Osbourne had Parkinson's disease. And, music plays a big role in people's lives. I think music is one of the things that does bring people together.
100%. Yeah.
Especially if you're the CEO of Astronomer and with your HR, Coldplay will bring you together.
I can remember my very first Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath experience, as a kid.
Did you go to a concert?
I was a teenager. It had to have been in the 80s. I was at Baptist camp. Band. We broke up records, threw them in the fire because, they were devil worshipers.
Well, my thing here is, and so I wasn't going to say anything yesterday on this deal, but I find it as an opportunity to point people towards what I consider to be the truth. And it's with sadness that more than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love. We ask everyone to respect their family privacy at this time. That's Sharon, Jack, Kelly, Amy, and Lewis, whatever his name is. Crazy Train. That's the only song I can name. So obviously I'm not a fan. I'm not taken away from anything Ozzy did as an entertainer. And people came at me yesterday because I made this post here. I said the news of Ozzy Osbourne's passing has prompted reflection on his life legacy and where he is now. Known for his intense career and embrace of darker themes, one can only hope he found peace and turned to Jesus in his final moments. This serves as a reminder our time on earth is finite. We all face an eternal destination. It's never too late to seek reconciliation with God. And of course, a lot of people attacked me, said I was being judgmental with this. I
think you're sending a message to everyone that, hey, no matter your circumstances, not judging him. You look at his life and the life he led, it was, it was dark.
It was dark, and people say, well, that was just a performance. Okay, well, how much of that performance actually led people into a dark place in their own lives? Because if you glorify evil, the Bible says, woe to those who call evil good. If you're going to call evil good, and let me just put it another way and say, well, this evil that he portrayed, it was just performance. Okay, well, there's a very dangerous and slippery slope on that. Because while it might just be a performance to you, there are other people who took it seriously. There are other people who pursued occultic things because of the message that you consistently portrayed as the, quote, prince of darkness. So if you are upset with me for being concerned about the eternal salvation and the whereabouts of a soul, which I think is a very compassionate message, when you portrayed yourself as, quote, the prince of darkness throughout a very storied and long career, I think it's a very loving thing. And I give everyone permission, and I said this on Facebook yesterday, when I die, I give everyone, all of the listeners, everyone who would hear this, I want you to say, I hope Chad had a genuine, biblical, right, close relationship with Jesus Christ. Because when the eyeliner fades and the stage goes quiet and the wild stories of snorting ants off the sidewalk up your nose, when those become whispers in the wind, people don't just, listen, you don't just talk about the music, you talk about eternity. Because whether you're a celebrity or not, you still stand as a fallen individual in need of grace and forgiveness before God himself. So when you draw that final breath, I don't care how many people you influenced for the positive or what kind of performance art you put out there. You don't just step off the stage, you step into forever. And the only question that matters isn't about the fame or the fortune or even the people you left behind. It's about faith. So when I look at these images of Ozzy, it begs the question in my mind, you promoted evil. And there were people who came at me and said, well, he was a Christian. He proclaimed, he professed Christ long ago. I said, well, actually, he didn't. He never did do that. I would love it if someone could give me. When I look at this image, I don't feel holy, right? I don't feel like this is purifying my soul. I don't feel like this is something. People say, well, you think you're without sin? No, I very much know that I'm a sinner. But I'm not out there promoting, I'm not out there claiming to be a Christian and pushing people towards an evil, dark place either. So you got to be careful with this thing. And so there were people who said, well, he professed Christ. I was like, no, he never did. He never did. What he said was, he said that he was raised in the Church of England. He went to Sunday school, although he cared very little about it. And that it never meant anything really to him. He said he believed in God. Well, so do, he said he was spiritual. But belief like that, that's not your ticket to heaven. The Bible says in James 2:19 that the demons believe and they tremble. So to say that somebody believes in God or the existence of God, that's not salvation. Salvation is built on faith in Christ Jesus, right? A biblical faith is not a mental agreement. It's not wearing a cross or quoting something. It's not saying God bless at the end of your show. Salvation is a surrender. It's a transformation. It's being born again. And so what disturbed me, Steve, more than anything else, is the bad theology that people were throwing at me. Saying, well, he wore a cross around his neck. Jesus didn't ask you to wear the cross. He asked you to bear the cross. In John 3:3, he said, unless a man is born again, he can't see the kingdom of God. And that's not poetic language. That's a spiritual reality, because the Bible doesn't teach that good people go to heaven. People with the right rhetoric don't go to heaven, and that includes the megachurch pastors and everybody else. It teaches that forgiven people do, and forgiveness comes through faith in the finished work of Jesus Christ on the cross. So I don't know what took place in Ozzy's life or in his final days. I don't know. I was literally asking people, can you point to a place where he quoted, you can quote him maybe in a video or something where he said, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. He is my Savior. And people say, well, Alice Cooper also put on an act. Alice Cooper also has consistently and publicly repented for what he did, and he's also professed Jesus Christ numerous times. And so people say, are you judging his soul? No, I'm not. I'm praying for it.
I think you could judge his actions. The actions, mocking.
Exactly.
He's mocking the cross.
Right.
It's a prince of darkness. It's demonic.
And you can say it's performance, but Galatians 6 says, be not deceived. God is not mocked. You can't do that. You can't thumb your nose at God. You can't treat holy things. Go read the book of Hebrews chapter 10. Read Hebrews chapter 6. You can't treat as common things that God has deemed holy. You can't do that. Now, God rest his soul. May he rest in peace. I pray that he did know God, and God bless his family. At no point in time was I ever trying to say, Ozzy was this big heathen. I don't know, because I'm not God. I'm not the person who gets to make that decision, right? Well, I don't speak for God.
Let's hope he's up there making a joyful noise and not down there.
I hope so. I hope so. But it's like, it's fair for me as a person who is supposed to live as an ambassador of Christ in this world, that when something like this happens and everybody's glorifying a man as an icon or a legend or a hero, I don't look at any man as those things. Because men are all fallen. That's why I've often said, never choose your heroes till they're dead, because always something comes out. And I'm not going to bring up people, but there's a lot of people out there that stuff emerges about their life, and you're like, oh, I really put that guy on a pedestal. And I didn't say anything. Stephen, you and I talked about Jimmy Swaggart when he passed away a few weeks ago. Yeah. There were different people that I'm like, I don't know. I mean, he proclaimed a very public repentance and confession of sin. That's between him and God. What happened with Ozzy, listen, what I'm encouraging people to do is, people are people. I don't care how famous they are, how rich they are, what kind of influence they had. People are people, and one day you're all going to stand before God. And I pray that we turn the spotlight where it belongs, not on the celebrity, but on the Savior that saves the celebrity, just like every other soul out there. So you can honor a man's life while reminding a generation the urgency of eternity. And that's all I was doing. Because one day, your name might be in the headlines, or it might just be in the obituary. But you can bank on this. What you got in the bank ain't going to matter. Your follower count ain't going to matter. What's going to matter is whether Jesus knows your name. So what does it mean? What does it mean to be saved? It means you've repented. And it's not wearing a cross around your neck. I had people chewing me out yesterday saying, well, he wore a cross around his neck. So I could wear an electric chair around my neck.
I wear a baseball hat. A baseball player.
Wearing a cross, okay, great. For a while he wore an upside down cross. What are we supposed to go with that? Salvation isn't about saying God bless at the end of a video or a concert or whatever. I say God bless all the time. There's been times where I've said God bless at the end of a video and gone out and lived like hell.
Haven't we all?
Yeah, you can speak in tongues and cuss in English. I've done a little bit of both, baby. Listen, it means you've repented, not regretted. There's a lot of people who regret what they've done in life. Repented for it. They haven't changed their mind. It means you've declared with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, believed in your heart that God raised him from the dead. That's Romans 10:9. It means you've come to the end of yourself, found the mercy at the foot of the cross. And again, rest in peace, Ozzy. God bless you. My condolences to the Osbourne family. I'm talking to the people who commented. I'm talking to the people who commented with some really bad theology. Because listen, when you do that, when you come to Christ, from that moment on, your life's going to change. It doesn't become perfect. But if the Spirit of God lives inside of you, he is going to start perfecting you, and there's going to be certain things that you get out of your life. Paul consistently said that in the New Testament. He said, you were once this way, but now you're no longer that, because you've been called to something higher. Okay? Let this mind be in you. Let a heavenly mind be in you. Go read Colossians 3. See, that's the evidence. That's the transformation. That's the walk of faith. So today, let me just publicly say, I offer condolences to the Osbourne family. I mourn with those who mourn, like the Bible says. But we lift our eyes to the hills from where our help comes, Psalm 121, because in life, in death, Christ is the only hope. And I wanted people to let Ozzy's passing remind us of the truth we ignore. And that is this: death is certain. Eternity is real, and it's forever, and Jesus is the only way. And that, friends, is the ultimate condolence you can offer to any family, in my opinion.
It's anytime anyone ever died in in my life, when my mother was alive, she would always say, I hope they were right with the Lord.
I hope they were right with the Lord. Do you know how many times I've stood or sat by someone's bedside and I knew they were dying? A lot of times. And you know my question to them, whether they were an uncle or a friend or a church member, I've sat by a lot of bedsides and asked them the question, are you ready to go? Are you ready to meet Jesus? Are you ready to meet God? Are you ready to step into eternity? So to me, I think that question is the ultimate form of love. It is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not a comfortable thing to ask somebody that, especially because, one, it's an admission of their finality. It's an admission that they are on their deathbed. But to me, please, I want all of you who listen to this show, who follow me, when the time comes, if you have that opportunity, I want you to ask me, check on my soul. Because eternity is forever, man. It's forever. I didn't say anything when Jimmy Swaggart died. I didn't say anything when Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away the other day. But somebody who promoted the image of and called themselves the Prince of Darkness. And listen, yeah, of course, he said it was a persona. He said it was a character. He said that, there were some things that were silly about biting the head off the bat and all these kind of things. I get it. Performance art. I know the difference. But I care about people's souls, man. I really do. So the Bible doesn't invite you to a religion. It invites you into a relationship, not a ritual, not a routine, but a rebirth, okay? And that's what we're looking for. Not did you say I believe in God? Not did you belong to the Church of England? You can live in a garage. That don't make you a car.
Amen.
So that's not the deal. Party Foul Steve. And speaking of that, I'll leave you guys with this. Jelly Roll is back in the news, and they're not talking about it real big, but he, every now and then you have something that kind of happens that kind of cuts through all the noise and all the lights, the glam, the chaos of the world. And when we're talking about celebrity, this is something, I kind of like this little trend I'm seeing with Jelly Roll because it sort of pierces the human soul. So I saw this clip. We were going to talk about it yesterday. Didn't get a chance to. Jelly Roll, who, let's be honest, he's been honest about his addictions and all of his own shortcomings. He's been to hell and back. He was in the middle of a concert, middle of a show. The crowd's all hyped up. He's doing his thing, and then he stops mid-song because he sees this young girl in the crowd holding a sign. It's got a message on it, one of those throat tightening signs. It said her mother had passed away, and this little girl, this brave little soul, she's at the concert holding that sign up high. She's crying, she's grieving, but she still showed up for the show. And watch what happened. Clip.
First of all, we love you, Elena. What a strong young lady it takes to be here representing your mama like that. And I'm not sure that I can say anything that can make it better, because I know what it's like when stuff's just not okay. And I hope you know that it's okay to not be okay. But I promise you it's going to be all right, little Lorena Rose. All right, baby girl? And I can tell you this, you made 40,000 friends tonight, and Mama's smiling down at you, girl. We're going to dedicate this to her, okay? I'm not okay. I'm barely getting by. I'm losing track of days. And I am not okay. I'm hanging on the rails. So if I say I'm fine, just know that I learned to hide it well. I know I can't be the only one who's holding on for dear life. But God knows I know when it's all said and done that I'm not okay, but it's all gonna be alright. It's not okay, but we're all gonna be alright. Ain't that right?
I'm not crying. You're crying, Steve.
Yep. None of us are okay, but I hope we're all right with the Lord.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, when you think about that, and obviously people say, oh, he's just doing that attention. But, you know, I'm so sick of people's rhetoric with that kind of stuff. I mean, he could have just gone on with his show. He could have ignored the whole deal. Our good friend Cody Johnson, he stopped a lot of shows when he's seen signs and done things. We've seen people do this. But you think about the kind of strength that it takes to do that. I mean, most adults don't have the guts to kind of walk through grief of losing a loved one, much less a mother, let alone go into a public space surrounded by people at a concert and say, you know, I'm still here, I'm hurting, but I'm here. And Jelly Roll, you kind of hear his voice crack a little bit in that deal. I mean, he gets the words out, but he could have just brushed past it, but instead he leaned in. And that's what I like to see, is when these guys lean in. And they say to, you know, this little girl says, you know, what a strong lady it takes to be here. You know, you represent your mama like that. I'm not sure I could say anything to make it better, but I promise you it's all going to be all right. It fits in well with the song. I mean, it works out pretty good, you know.
It's a message. He's a vessel, and man, God uses some vessels that are well used.
Well used. There's been a lot run through them, right?
It's like, but you brought up Cody there for a minute, and for the longest time, he would always say, you know, I'd like to thank the man upstairs, and then it had a meeting with his pastor, and after that, it was, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And
say his name.
You know, say his name. You know, Jelly Roll's on a journey. He's on a journey. I mean, he's doing an outward transformation. I call it the Luke Combs diet. He's starting to look like Luke Combs because he's losing weight. He's getting down to Luke Combs weight, which is still a pretty big old boy. Now, when you live in a world where everything is polished and kind of curated and photoshopped and filtered, but, you know, real pain in our world doesn't play up to those rules of publicity. But when it shows up kind of raw like that, and it breaks out in public and interrupts things, interrupts life, because grief interrupts life. You know, that song, that I'm Not Okay, that song's actually ministered to me in recent months. And it's just like Cody Johnson's Human. I mean, that song, I keep it on repeat. And that is what makes us all human, man. You know, we wear the pain like we're supposed to hide it, like this invisible badge, and we bury it deep. We don't want people to know. You were talking about something that's bothering you today. You know, there's some things that have been bothering me, and lately, you know, recent months, the last 2 years have been hard as hell. I just wrote a book that's coming out here in a couple of weeks, basically about grief. Called Born for Meaning. And, you know, then you got other people that are kind of waving around out there, you know, crying out for anybody to care. And when somebody finally does stop, when somebody looks you in the eyes and says, I see you, I feel you, it's okay not to be okay, I think it's a sacred moment.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a sacred moment. And I think you could see it on that girl's face, regardless if it's showmanship or performance. That girl was blessed. That's the ministry. That's the healing. That's Jesus in shoe leather right there. That's Jesus with tattoos on his face, you know. This is the book. It's coming out, Born for Meaning. And, you know, walking through the ashes towards unbreakable joy. Man, I'm trying to live it out. Grief doesn't care about your schedule. Grief doesn't care who you're around. It'll bust out on your face, through your eye holes. I mean, it's bad because it doesn't ask for permission. It just moves in, and when it does, it doesn't leave very quietly either. So in the middle of the storm, I love it when God sends people, moments, songs, even concerts to remind us that we're not alone. Party Foul Steve reminds me every day I'm not alone.
You're not alone.
And you know what, Steve? We don't like to admit it because we're big, tough guys, right? We just, you know, I mean, we're guys that like for somebody to bring us.
I'm less and less tough every day.
I get convicted because of how untough I am these days. Yeah. But you know, all of us are sort of like that little girl. I think that's my message these days to these big, rough and tumble, rugged dudes, man. Because I was talking this morning over coffee to some of the guys that, you know, we know a lot of guys who've done a lot of crazy things in this world. Special ops and undercover, covert guys. They've done some crazy killing in their life. But we're all like that little girl. You know, you lost somebody, your life's ripped a hole in your heart, and you're trying to hold up. And maybe a lot of people out there watching this today kind of holding up that invisible sign, hoping somebody's going to see it. Well, let me say this to you. We here at the Chad Prather Show, me and Steve, we see you. More importantly, and this is what's important, God sees you. Psalm 34:18 says the Lord's close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That's not poetry. That's a promise, because God's not standing far off judging your tears. He's moving in closer. So I know that Jelly Roll, God bless him, man. I hope he keeps on this little journey. That guy's got a heart. I mean, you say what you want to say. I don't care about the leaked clips of him dropping F-bombs or talking about this or that or what his marriage is like. Whatever. You know what? He's on a journey too.
We're so quick to, when these dressed up pastors fall from what they're doing, and we're so quick to jump on them and just, say whatever. But then you see somebody coming the opposite way. And why aren't we jumping on their bandwagon to lift them up during this? Yeah, dude, if you pulled all the skeletons out of our closets, we wouldn't be even worthy to speak.
Well, and that's why you speak in light of it, because you're not perfect, you're just forgiven, and we're this life is not a performance. We're not players strutting about on stage, and that's why I think that if we'll be transparent, open, that the most powerful sermons out there don't come from the pulpit, they just come from real life. So I think the takeaway is whatever you're going through, however broken you feel, don't let the pain lie to you, let it convince you that it doesn't have to stay hidden. You never know when Jelly Roll might sing a song to you, man. That's the beauty of humanity.
He might sing one to me this afternoon. I'll hop in the truck and turn it up. Might need it. It won't be Ozzy. It won't be Ozzy.
I mean, when I'm feeling alone in the dark, I'm not cranking Ozzy. God rest his soul. I pray that he's where he needs to be, but where we hope he is. But anyway, pain has a purpose, and sometimes you never know where that ministry to that pain is going to come from. So here we go. All right, party foul, Steve. We're going to jump off of here. I like to remind everybody that sometimes we cut these little short clips, and sometimes we do some other breaking headlines. So check back with Rumble and YouTube with some of our other videos. What I like to do, people look at the timestamp. If it's a 58-minute or an hour-long show, that's the full show. But sometimes there's a little 15-minute clip in there or a 10-minute clip. That might be something that you haven't seen yet. Watch those.
Watch them on YouTube. Get over to YouTube and watch them over there too.
Yeah, watch them. YouTube's sort of being good to us right now. We need to expand all of the places, and that happens when people share the show, click like, subscribe to the channels, do all those things. Doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us immensely. Steve, I'm going to Lubbock without you.
Yes, I'm going to stay home. Yeah. The next few weeks are going to be touch and go with me because we have grandbaby number 7.
Yeah.
Just here in a few weeks, and so. Yeah. Papa's got to be close.
Papa's got a brand new bag. I'm getting a little skinny. Check me out here now. Hang on.
You're looking good.
You're looking good. I had the little belly thing going on for a minute, and it was coming back. I'm getting back to where I need to be. Sucking in a little bit, but whatever. Yeah.
I suck in a lot.
Follow Party Foul Steve at Party Foul Steve. And, of course, our producer, David Medina. Follow him at David Medina PDX. Instagram, YouTube, X, all the places. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm tired of social media. I'm so tired of it. Got to keep doing it, but I'm tired of it. Party Foul.
You could take a day off.
I don't know how.
David
won't let me.
Yeah, I know, but you got to put that phone down. They make you put it down there, though, right? Do you have to go hours at a time not using it?
Yeah. I'm probably going to go out here and look at the wall in a minute, stare at it, maybe stir it with a stick.
Yeah, weren't you a captain yesterday out there on the Instagram? I saw
I'm
you
telling
on
you,
Instagram.
dude. I did. I got on a boat. I was driving a boat. Today we're going to make paper mache.
Paper mache.
Not paper mache. We're going to do origami in class. That's what we're going to do today.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our feelings, and we're going to talk about what makes me mad. And then we're going to do origami. We're going to make little swans out of paper.
I can send you a list of everything that makes you mad if you want me to. It's a short list, but I can send it.
Steve, you said something sweet to me last night on text message. I won't read it to everybody, but it sure was nice and encouraging.
Yeah. Chat GPT helped me make that. No, I'm lying. That came from my heart. That came straight here from my heart.
Well, I appreciate the encouragement. I want you to be encouraged too. I want everybody listening to the show to be encouraged. We got to get out of here. God bless you. for Party Foul Steve, for me. Go to watchchad.com. I will be at Lubbock in the Cactus Theater. I haven't been there since 2018. Last time I was at the Cactus, I 5 days later wound up in major surgery. They cut me in half. So we're not going to do that this go around, but we will have some fun there this Friday night. So get your tickets, come hang out. And then I'm going to be, let me just tell you real quick, I'm going to be, after that, I am headed to New York, Westchester, the Trump in Westchester. My good friend Chloe Castillo, she's got her Make Music Great Again. We're kicking off that gala. Laura Trump will be there. I'm the keynote speaker. Some others will be there. Then we got a show coming back up in Fredericksburg on the 15th, Fredericksburg, Texas, the 15th of August. And then I'm speaking of Cody Johnson, Randy Weaver's, Cody Johnson's old church, Lone Star Cowboy Church there in Montgomery, Texas. They've got a big event going on the 22nd. I'm speaking at that. And yeah, we got all kind of things going on, man. All kind of things going on. I am with, I'm now with Premier Speakers Bureau. So we're booking speaking opportunities. If you got a convention or something coming up, reach out to me. Go to watchchad.com and send me a little deal, and I'll send it over to my agent over at Premier Speakers, and they'll hook you up. We'll get together. All right, guys, I love you. Share it, like it, subscribe, do all the wonderful things. Don't forget about our friends over at Birch Gold Tech, CHAD. I spell it Chad to 989898, and also AlliedOilfield.com. And if you want somebody's Patriot, where's my side? Patriot Crew shirts, you can use promo code CHAD10 when you head over to patriotcrew.co. See ya. Yeah. All right, I love you guys. God bless you. Continue to pray for each other and get your life right with Jesus. That's what I'm trying to do for myself, okay? No judgment here. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Might even do a little Chad's Church. Come through a little bit today. All right, stay tuned for all the good stuff coming. Don't forget the Chad Prather Show. New and improved, the relaunch, September 1st. It's coming up. I'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless. Bye. Hey, guys, welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show.